Our next speaker is a social analyst. He writes this blog called The Hard Truths. H-E-A-R-T, not the other one again. The other one is written by somebody else. Roy Ngerng is a social analyst and a blogger. He writes really, really well. And if you go to his blog, you will see all kinds of statistics and charts and stuff, but don't be frightened. He explains them very clearly. You want to know about CPF, population, education, whatever, go to his blog and you will see what the mainstream media don't tell you. Here's Roy Ngerng.
Hello everyone, I am Roy. I am the blogger of The Hard Truths. I am honored and humbled to be here today to be a voice among Singaporeans who speak up against the NBA licensing rule. The NBA licensing rule has to go. For more than 40 years, Singaporeans couldn't protest in Singapore. And in the past, if you speak up, what will happen to you? You will be arrested, you will be jailed, you will be thrown into prison, you will be sued, and you will be made bankrupt. This year is the first time in Singapore's history since our independence that we are able to come here in the thousands to speak out and to voice out for what is right for us. Great job, Singaporeans. And we must continue to do this. Now, the government tells us it's okay. Trust them. Give them time. After a while, when the license takes effect, then we will know that we can trust them. So this is what the government says. This is what Yaakob says. But Singaporeans, how many years have we given the government to make things right? 50 years. They want us to read the right thing. But are they doing the right thing? No. Over the past more than 1 decade, Singaporeans' median wages have remained stagnant. In fact, for the poorest in Singapore, since 2000, their real wages have actually dropped. The percentage of people who are able to meet their CPF minimum sum and Medisave minimum sum have also dropped. Yet, healthcare costs have increased and the percentage of the government spending on healthcare has dropped. Is it any wonder that many people, especially the elderly, do not dare to go to see a doctor? So, the government wants us to read the right thing. But are they doing the right thing? No! If they are not doing the right thing, then what do they want us to read? Today, our retirement funds, and that is our CPF, is the smallest among all the developed countries. The smallest among all the developed countries. I'm a bit tall. And not only that, our retirement funds are even lower than developing countries like Malaysia and Philippines, developing countries. We are the richest country in the world by per capita GDP, but we have the lowest retirement funds in the developed countries.
Disgraceful!
Disgraceful! Our CPF is invested in the GIC and the Temasek Holdings. The GIC is ranked the 8th largest sovereign wealth fund in the world, and the Temasek Holdings is ranked the 11th largest sovereign wealth fund in the world. But our CPF is the lowest in the developed countries. Now, we must not sit down and we must not wait for the government to change and to treat us better. We need to stand up and we need to ask the government to change. If not, we will change the people in the government. The government, I repeat, the government cannot expect to tell the people to sit down and listen to the right thing when there is no right thing. When there's nothing right about how there are more and more elderly who have to work in our hawker centers to be cleaners and be paid very low wages. My question to you is this: are you willing to work long hours every day and get paid only a few $100 in Singapore? No. Are you willing? No. Of course, our government ministers won't understand this. Because why? Because they are paid millions of dollars. Will they know how hard it is to be poor? No. The government tells us that the elderly want to stay active. They want a hobby, and so the government said we should encourage them to work. But do you know that in 2005, when the government conducted a survey, 62% of the elderly said that they needed to work because they need the money. This is up from 39% in 1995. That's 10 years, 20% increase in 1995. Now, after 8 years, is there another 20% increase? Are there 80% of the elderly who want to work because they do not have enough money? So the government tells us that the elderly wants to work. Many of our elderly are in blue-collar industries. Many of our elderly are lowly paid. Now, if the government wants us to read the right thing, will you know all this if we read their right thing? Because they're not right. Well, Singaporeans are suffering, and we cannot just read their right thing because we won't know what is going on. If there was no one to speak up for the elderly, who will speak up for them? In this new rule, the government wants to tell us to take down articles within 24 hours. Think about it. If you're not happy with something someone has said, would you tell the person to shut up? Or would you want the person to talk to you to find out why? So why does the government doesn't want to talk to us? Why does the government want us to keep quiet? The government says online news sites need to be licensed. But which are these sites? Obviously the government already know which these sites are because they are monitoring them. So why not let everyone know which these sites are? Let us all know which these sites are. Let us all know how many unique visitors there are. Let us know if we agree with you. Now, if the government had bothered to speak to any one of us here, we would have told them who says that we want our articles to be taken down. If we don't want to read something, we won't read it. If there is something we don't agree with, we will talk about it. We are not like them. Who says that we want our articles to be taken down? The people don't need the government to prevent us from reading. We have our own eyes, we have our own minds, and we can decide what to read. So if this is the case, who is the government really wanting to protect?
Their family.
Now today, there are only 10 new sites, new websites that the government wants to license. Now that's today. But what will happen tomorrow? Or what will happen in GE 2015 or 2016? Will there suddenly be 100 sites, 200 sites? Who will know? Only the government will know. When there are too many sites which are licensed, will we still be able to read? Will we still be able to know what is going on in Singapore? Will we still have a stake in our own country? Maybe the question that the government should ask is not, how do you censor the internet so that more people will read the newspapers? Maybe the real question that the government should ask is this: why are people choosing to read the internet instead of your newspapers? What is wrong with their newspapers?
You're printing untruth.
The NBA says, Singaporeans, let us decide what is good for you. We will make the decision for you. And we will decide what to remove because it is for your own good. Now let me tell you how a truly democratic country works. In the Nordic countries, the newspapers have a press council. These press councils are independent of the government. All the newspapers sign on to this council because they want to show the public how they are responsible. with what they publish. So if a member of public, and that's you, believes that the newspaper has written something which is not right, the individual can write to the council. The council meets every month to discuss, and if the newspaper has been found to have breached a code of conduct, they have to print a notice on their newspaper. So, you see, in a country where everyone has their rights, in a country that is truly democratic, and it is not just some people, every person in the country, an individual like you and I, gets heard. We all get to speak out, not just the MPA. Now, many countries have adopted press councils, but in Singapore, why does the government want to censor instead of let people consult with one another? In Singapore, the MPA expects Singaporeans to listen to them. The MPA believes they know everything. Should this be the way, Singaporeans? No! The MPA is not in a position to make such a decision. The people, we should have the right to do so. If the government doesn't trust the people, how can the people expect the people? How can the government expect the people to trust the government? Singapore has been independent for almost 50 years. In 2015, we will celebrate the 50th anniversary of our country's independence. But what is there to celebrate? On 1st June 2013, the government imposed a licensing fee on online news sites. What does this mean for us? This means that we will not be able to read what they do not want us to read. We will not be able to know what they do not want us to know. We will not be able to think, because will you really know what is happening in Singapore? Will we know the truth that is happening in Singapore? Now, if the government doesn't take this rule down, we will lose our independence. We will lose our independence to read, to know, to think, and to be who we are. But there are some people who say, but the opposition is not strong enough. I will talk about the opposition today. Mr. Tan Jee had said in his speech at the Labour Day protest that there are many capable opposition politicians with sterling qualifications, and I agree with him. But my question to you is this. Many of us have a good education. If we think that we cannot be responsible and help to run the country, I think we are in a very dangerous position. There are 3.5 million Singaporeans in Singapore. Do you think that we can only rely on 90 people in the government to make all the decisions for us? Are we saying that among the 3.5 million people in Singapore that we are not good enough to run this country? Now, even if we don't have a degree, I know that there are some people with IT certs or are from normal technical stream who are equally very smart. Some of them have set up their own businesses. The population white paper have also called our nurses low-skilled workers. But I have seen smart thinkers among our nurses as well. No one is not good enough to help to run this country. Everyone is good enough. And we need to believe in ourselves. Whoever is in government, we make sure that the government will listen to us.